Welcome back, y'all. It's been a very slow week for Gears of War news. I think it's been almost 2 weeks actually since we've gotten an official What's Up news, and the last one being the Carmines being introduced, and that was like May 14th, so it's getting pretty close to being almost 2 weeks. So instead, today I wanted to talk about TC Octus leaving the coalition and toxicity in the Gears of War community as a whole. For anybody that might not be fully caught up with what's going on or may not know who TC Octus is, a few days ago he posted on his Twitter that after 5 years of working with the coalition, it was time for him to move on and basically start the next chapter of his life. And this sort of caused a split in the community, and let me explain. For anybody that isn't fully aware, TC Octus was a community manager for the coalition, which meant that he was interacting with fans and the community as a whole. He was constantly on Twitter, on Reddit, on any type of forums, responding to the community and essentially letting them know, being kind of like the halfway point between the community and the coalition. He would tell the community what is going on and what we're working on so that the community isn't left basically in the dark with no knowledge of what steps Gears 5 is taking. This inadvertently made Octus the face of Gears of War and the Coalition. So if anybody had an issue, they would ask him for help. They would tweet at him with any bugs that they encountered, and TC Octus would then forward it to the development team. As a result, he also became everything that was wrong with Gears 5. If there was anything broken or anything that the community wanted changed that they just didn't agree with, they would reach out to TC Octus to see if there was any sort of way that this could be changed. And it didn't help that TC Octus replied with very vague responses such as, "We're working on it, the team is looking into it, it's coming in the future," and it sort of became a meme in the Gears of War community. And if something wasn't addressed right away, then TC Octus was to blame, at least in the community's eyes, because he's the one that everybody was having these communications with, because nobody in the community necessarily has contact with the developers, and it was all up to TC Octus to relay this information to developers and from developers to the community. TC Octus did have some say as to like what to prioritize and what to look into, but as far as I know, he wasn't the one personally going in and making those changes. So again, the community kind of started to blame TC Octus for a lot of the issues at Gears 5, and whether he deserved this hate or not is kind of what split the community a little bit these last couple of days, because some people were really happy to see him gone. They do indeed see TC Octus as the main reason that Gears 5 is bad, because every time they have a problem with Gears 5, he is the one that is addressing it, whether or not it's a good decision to say, hey, we're working on this or we're going to be taking a look into this. Once the community manager has interaction with the community like that, the community believes that it is going to be a quick fix and that it's going to be addressed exactly the way they wanted it to get addressed, which is not the way it works. So on the other hand, we have the people that, saw TC Octus as just a community manager, as someone to relay information from the fan base to the developers. And in my opinion, I don't think TC Octus deserved all the hate that he has been getting for the last 8 months since Gears 5 came out. And this isn't one of those vocal minorities type of situations where it's a small group of people voicing their opinions on the matter. This is a very large part of the fan base that is glad to see TC Octus leave. Again, I don't think he deserves all the hate, as I think he was just doing his best to portray the information. And in his situation, it's not like he can straight up tell us what exactly Gears 5 has planned in the future without, spoiling too much, because they have to keep a lot of this stuff under wraps, because once you say, hey, we're working on this, then the community thinks it's going to be coming like next week, and once they don't see it within the week, they're going to say, hey, TC Octus, you told us this was coming. And his response would be something along the lines of, I did say it was coming, but I didn't say it was coming out soon. And it was a back and forth like that, creating a lot of hate between the community and TC Octus. Which leads me to talk about toxicity in this game. Now, let's be honest, the Gears of War fan base is passionate. Let's just put it that way. They're a very passionate group of people, and they love their game, and they don't want to see any harm be done to Gears 5, because they've been playing this game since 2006, 2007, since they've been playing it for over 10 years. So they don't want to see their beloved franchise get changed for the worse, and they're going to be very vocal about that. And I'm not just talking about toxicity from the community towards the developers, but I see it in game all the time. Now, honestly, I haven't like fully played a Gears game on console since Gears 3. I did play Judgment, but I wouldn't necessarily say that I was like deep into the community during that time. But oh boy, back during the Gears 3 days, that is the worst the community has been, in my opinion. And I still see sort of some issues pop up nowadays when playing Gears 5. Like in ranked, I see people flame each other to the point where they make them quit out of the game, and then the person that was flaming will blame the quitter for us losing. And it's stuff like that that is, really does not give Gears 5 or Gears of War in general a really good name, because yeah, everybody kind of knows that the Gears of War community can be pretty toxic. And the reason I'm talking about toxicity is because a lot of people are blaming this issue for the reason that TC Octus decided to leave the coalition. They say that he just couldn't handle all the hate he was receiving, and community managers as a whole, they tend to get a lot of the hate for a lot of the reasons that I stated earlier. They sort of become the face of that company or that game. But the Gears community can take it a little too far sometimes, so a lot of people are saying that he just couldn't handle being part of this community anymore, especially since in his Twitter, he mentioned that Gears 5 is taking a pretty different approach in a good way, and that a lot of good changes are coming. So it doesn't make any sense as to why he would leave the coalition at a time when Gears 5 is going to start becoming good again, if it wasn't for the community basically wanting him out at this point. But nobody really knows. Nobody knows except for TC Octus, and I just kind of wanted to make this video to talk about my thoughts on the whole situation, because I, for one, had no problems with TC Octus. I tweeted at him twice with issues I had, and both times he actually replied to me in a fairly quick time. And he said he did say the typical, we'll look into it, or it's going to be coming soon. But at least he took the time to respond and actually interact with the community to let us know that we were being heard in some way. But that's everything I have for y'all today. This video actually went a little longer than I was hoping for it to go. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know what you think of TC Octus. Are you glad he's leaving, or did you have no problems with him? And do you still think that Gears of War is toxic? If not, less toxic, at least from when it was a couple years back. Let me know all that in the comments below. But if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. And if you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so, as it really helps me out a lot. And as always, hope you have a good one, and catch y'all next time.
Your accomplishments today honor those who served before you.